hospital while holding my mixed-race baby for the first time. My brother pointed his finger at me. Guess the dad didn't show up, huh? He said, laughing. He didn't know my husband had died 4 months ago. He also didn't know that my father-in-law, an ex-Navy SEAL, was standing in the doorway right behind him. My brother had only learned I was pregnant 2 weeks ago, and he'd been bombarding me ever since. Not because he wanted to meet his nephew, but because he wanted to make fun of me again. It's why I cut him off originally. He's always been obsessed with laughing at my expense, announcing to the whole class when I got my period for the first time, and even posting pictures of me crying when my first pregnancy ended in miscarriage. This was no different. When I locked eyes with my father-in-law, while my brother was busy laughing about the baby being another statistic, I gave him the signal. You see, what my brother didn't know was that I had planned for this. I'd spent my entire last week coordinating with my late husband's family, my friends, even my brother's own wife, getting everything set in place. So while he stood there laughing so hard tears were rolling down my face, trying to get close and pinch my cesarean scar, his literal destruction was happening 20 feet away from him. I let him take his pictures, make his Facebook posts, write his captions about me being irresponsible and naive, because I knew that everything he did was just him unknowingly digging himself into a deeper and deeper hole. That's when a nurse came in, but not to check on me, but because even she was in on it. While leaning over to adjust my medications, she whispered to me that the guillotine was here, and asked if this meant it was go time. I nodded, and she turned around to set off the chain reaction. Excuse me, sir, she told my brother. Why were you recording her? I knew my brother had no filter and prided himself on being brutally honest, so as expected, he started going off. Because my sister here decided to go black and never go back. What was she expecting? For a black man to override his instincts and become father of the year? I'm recording her to immortalize her stupidity. I pretended to act shocked, knowing this had started off exactly as planned. How could you say that? You'd speak differently if you knew him and knew why he wasn't here. I yelled back, dropping him a breadcrumb to see if maybe he'd catch on to what was happening. But no, my brother was the kind who needed to stomp on you in every argument, attack every insecurity, regardless of who was watching or how he said it, and I used that to my advantage. If I knew him personally, I'd probably laugh even harder. He responded, you've always been stupid and gullible. It's how I convinced you your money was missing, and convinced mom you were the one stealing her opioid patches when she had cancer. There was something so satisfying about seeing him literally carve out his own destruction. He'd already cooked himself by this point, but I planted one more question because I wanted to totally destroy him. Are you just saying all of this because I have a child now and you're insecure about being infertile? That's when he exploded. How dare you? I'm saying it because this baby is a disgrace. If I wanted to have kids, I would. My wife does as I say. Our parents do as I say. My whole life I've gotten what I wanted, and that's never going to stop. This was going so perfectly I couldn't hold back my laugh. Of course my brother saw this and got angry. What's so funny? He yelled. I didn't respond, just looked behind at the literal destruction waiting for him as soon as he turned around. It was even more grandiose than I'd imagined. What's so funny? He yelled again. I looked behind him again and gestured for him to look as well. He whipped his head around, probably expecting a nurse or doctor, but instead he saw it. I've never seen someone's skin color actually change in real time. In front of him, he saw my father-in-law, our parents' lawyer, his own wife, his boss at work, and as the final cherry on top, he saw Cheryl, his intern and affair partner in one, who was black herself. He turned around back to me, and now I was the one recording him. He already had tears in his eyes, but before he could even plead, our father slapped him. He grabbed his cheek like he was actually shocked. He went to say something, but the lawyer pressed a document against his chest, cutting him off. I'm removed from the will, he screamed, reading it. Not only that, his boss added, you're fired too. My brother's mouth opened and closed repeatedly. Add divorce to that list, his wife said, taking off her ring and making a show of throwing it at him. My brother was literally groveling on his knees by this point, and what he didn't know was that the biggest and final blow was yet to come. My father-in-law, who hadn't spoken a word yet, took out a pocket watch with a picture inside and handed it to my brother. That's Samuel, my brother said, crying by this point. He was with me. He died in Iran 4 months ago. My father-in-law pointed at me. I watched the pieces in his head click. My late husband was his dead friend who he served with. That was my brother's breaking point. He lunged at me, but more importantly, he lunged at the baby. I'm gonna kill you both. This is your fault. Then he did something I'll never forget. Full story on channel linked below.